try to learn what you can learn from it. And I think Wisconsin played as good as they played all year. And it's unfortunate you kind of run into a buzz-saw like that after kind of being on a roll. But I thought they played extremely well in their arena. And thought it wasn't our best in handling that environment, but we still made some nice plays in there. And I never felt like we were out of battling in terms of our body language and how we were talking and everything. And sometimes your plays go that way, and sometimes they don't. So we just got to make sure we keep grinding, and we had a very nice run before this last match. Eyes on to Iowa here.
Yeah, not sure you'll see a bigger block the rest
No.
of the season.
I'm not sure I've seen one since we've been here. So,
but just what can you learn just in general about making a block like that?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see that more and more as time goes on. I think our game is for as big and strong as it was in the last several years. It's still going to continue to be that way, and I think you're just seeing across the board just bigger, faster, stronger athletes, and training's getting a lot better. And so we still have to learn from it, like I said, and try to learn how to score points against it. And it's very similar to what the men's game is and what it looks like. People started to run as we have out of the back row with their attack and coming at you with different options. And so again, it's just another chance to learn, and that was an opportunity to learn. And we obviously try to take away what we could today in practice, and we got to keep moving forward.
I guess, how do you maybe not let Saturday sort of derail what you have built for 3 weeks?
I think it's really what the conference always been for us. It's always one game at a time and making sure we do our best to take care of business. And so we can't get too wrapped up and it's like, hey, it wasn't our best game. Well, yeah, it wasn't our best game, but we're also playing against top number 2 in the country. It's just the way it is, and you're going to have we get an opportunity number 1 in the country here on Sunday too. And so it's just what the conference has always been, and you have to be pretty singularly focused on, hey, that was that game. Okay, learn what you can from it. Go move on to the next and play. Iowa's not having their greatest year, but they're still a dangerous team, and they're still fighting teams at the end of each set and each match. And so the focus becomes Iowa on Friday.
After the Northwestern, you talked just kind of the defense and just the improvements there. Like, what have you seen maybe just be better in this last stretch?
Yeah, a lot of it's just been making sure we stay within ourselves and within our abilities. And you're going to see some high-level shots, like I mentioned, and you really have to focus on taking care of the balls that you can and not trying to make the spectacular play. Those are going to happen regardless, but really making sure that you're playing, we say, just within yourself and within the range of what the game kind of allows. And if people go up and hit an amazing shot, you have to give them a golf clap and kind of move on and just be willing to know that can we take care of the ones that we can take care of, the ones that are blocks able to slow down, the ones that we get them out of system. Can we make sure we do our best to take care of those balls and put the ball where it needs to be, we can get a swing on it and get kills. And I thought we did a great job against that against Northwestern in the previous 5 games before that. So got to continue to do that. That's got to remain the focus, and that we've been doing a good job of it.
Has there been any sort of explicit change in practice after the Wisconsin game?
Having one practice? No. No, I think Mondays, this is the first time in a couple weeks that we've had a chance to tutor, just with the scheduling. When you get the Wednesday, Saturdays, you don't get a ton of time in between to work on, as much technique as you like to. And so, you maybe kind of glance back at the previous 2 weeks and just say, okay, well, here's things we did well, and here's some things that we need to work on. So today we worked on a few things that we didn't go great against Wisconsin. And, maybe we saw some balls hit harder at us than we did in the weeks past. We worked on some more defense and defending hard-driven balls. We hadn't seen that. Not that we hadn't seen it, we hadn't seen the amount of that in the previous matches. So it's really, you're always going to try to take each week for what it is. And this week we have a little bit more time to train as opposed to immediately prepping for the next opponent. So I think that's the big difference.
With it being like a Friday, Saturday, it's kind of like an NFL bye week, if you could, but what are you sort of taking into Iowa? How are you preparing for that challenge on the road?
Yeah, every team in the conference is tough on the road, and it's everyone's very comfortable in their own environments, and so it's really about making sure that we again just handle what we can, and obviously you're trying to take away what they do well. You're never going to stop their best player. Their best player is always the best player for a reason, but you really got to try to contain them and making sure that you don't let the rest of the team get a bunch of kills on you. And so I thought we did a really nice job against Wisconsin, slowing down offensive maybe player of the year here in the Big Ten of Sarah Franklin, and she hit about 100, but everyone else in their team hit way better than 100. So I think our game plans are always pretty good against the good hitters, but we got to make sure it's a team effort and don't let someone else get loose. So against Iowa, it's going to be a lot about the serve and pass. You're always going to hear that. They have a couple players that like to set it, so we have to have a good game plan for that.
You mentioned handling the environments on the road and debating that more people be louder. I read that Wisconsin. Are there things you can do to attenuate that, or it's just?
Obviously it's hard to just replicate that and invite 8,000 people here. But I think it's just that's where experience comes into play, and the more players that you have that have been through it and seen it a handful of times, it's just that's where the experience helps a ton. And so we have had a handful of players that have been through it, and we've had a handful of players that haven't been through it. And even with this year, we've had some players that have done it in different positions. And so for a lot of our players, it's their first time handling these environments, and that's part of the learning curve. And at some point, that just becomes your normal. And I always say, if you're fortunate enough to make the tournament, it's what helps you out, because sometimes you go into someone else's arena, they have the most fans they've ever had because it's a tournament, but it's something that we're used to playing at night in and night out. So it's just a part of being in the Big Ten, and it's a welcomed challenge that we all like.